Archangel Michael says, "My dear child, the last 2 minutes of this video hold a special message that could change everything for you. Watch till the end, and feel the blessings I have prepared gently unfold around you. Your case is closed, and you won't believe why. I beg you, don't ignore this, because the truth they reveal will leave you in tears. Open it immediately, not with fear or dread, but with a heart willing to feel again, to trust again, and to hope once more in the love of God that never turned away from you, not even for a moment." Type 2323 if you trust in God. There are moments in life when the burden we carry grows so quietly heavy that we forget how it ever began. We wake up each day, placing one foot in front of the other, trying to hold together the pieces that feel like they're constantly slipping through our fingers. There's a weight that clings to the soul, a quiet ache that words rarely reach, a longing for healing we cannot quite name. And yet, in the silence, God has always been watching, always been listening, always been moving on your behalf, even when you couldn't see it or feel it. The world may have told you your story was finished, or too broken, or far beyond grace, but heaven never agreed. Heaven wrote something else entirely. You see, there is something deeply personal about God's love for you. It was not cast out across humanity like a blanket and left to land wherever it may. It was aimed. It was chosen. It had your name written into it before you took your first breath. God has been following your journey with eyes full of mercy, and He has seen the secret places where you've cried quietly into the night, the places where you tried to be strong for everyone else while wondering who would carry you. And I want you to know this with everything inside you: He has not forgotten. Your case has been brought before Him, not in judgment, but in compassion. He looked not at what the world accused you of, or what others whispered in corners, or what shame tried to tattoo on your heart. He looked at the truth only He sees. He saw the broken child who still lives inside you. He saw the wounded places that were never your fault. He saw the weight you carried that was never meant to be yours. And in His holy presence, something miraculous happened. He closed the case. Not because justice was ignored, but because mercy shouted louder. Love spoke on your behalf. The truth is, the case against you could not stand, because the one who stood in your place bore every accusation. Every moment you thought you failed, every time you slipped, every wound that left you gasping for breath, He took it. Not because you asked perfectly, not because you understood, but because He chose you first. And in His hands, there is no record of wrong that lasts beyond His grace. What the enemy tried to use to destroy you, God turned into a reason to redeem you. What shame tried to use to hold you down, God transformed into a testimony written in the ink of healing. What if a simple 7-minute sound frequency could awaken a forgotten brain signal designed to pull wealth toward you like a magnet? Backed by shocking CIA files and neuroscience, this discovery is now changing lives everywhere. Think of debts melting away, promotions arriving, and abundance flowing freely. This is the one moment that can rewrite your future, but only if you claim it now, because hesitation will only keep you chained to the same struggles. Click the link in video description and comments below to experience the hidden wealth wave and let your financial destiny shift in your favor today. When Jesus looked at your life, He didn't see a hopeless mess or a wasted story. He saw a soul worth saving, a future worth restoring, a heart worth healing, and a life worth fighting for. And he fought. Not with swords or anger, but with love so fierce it broke the curse that had followed you, so gentle it reached into your pain without shaming you for it. That love is still here now, breathing into the room you sit in, surrounding you like quiet light, waiting patiently for you to believe it again. Type 444 if you believe in God's divine protection. And if your heart feels fragile right now, if your faith feels tired or worn thin, know this: God is not waiting for your perfection. He is waiting for your surrender. He doesn't ask you to prove yourself worthy. He asks you to come as you are, even if, as you are, feels messy, confused, broken, or doubtful. Because when you come to Him in your rawest truth, He meets you with the fullness of His love. And it is in that love that the verdict was written: not guilty, not forgotten, not disqualified, not too late. Just forgiven. Just beloved. Just held. So breathe, dear heart. Not because the world has promised you peace, but because the one who holds the world already declared your case is finished, and mercy won. Walk forward now, not in fear, but in faith, even if your steps are small. You don't need to carry the past anymore. You don't need to rehearse the pain to stay safe. Let God carry it for you. Let Him whisper into your tired soul that the case is closed, the story is not over, and healing is not a dream too far. It was about rewriting your story from the inside out. It was about opening your heart to a truth far deeper than anything you've ever been told by the world. And the truth is this: you were always meant to be loved. You were always meant to be free. You were always meant to walk hand in hand with your Creator, not as someone begging for approval, but as a beloved child who was never once abandoned. There's something sacred about the way God moves in silence, in the background of our everyday lives, weaving together moments that feel ordinary but are soaked in eternity. While you were struggling to hold yourself together, while you whispered prayers into your pillow with tear-stained cheeks, God was leaning in, listening to every word, collecting every tear, and working quietly behind the scenes. Nothing you've faced has been unseen. No pain you've carried has gone unnoticed. And even in the moments when you thought you had failed Him, He stayed. That's the kind of love we don't always understand, because people have taught us that love has limits. Love that disappears when we don't measure up. Love that turns cold when we speak the wrong words. Love that walks away when we get too hard to handle. But God's love doesn't operate like that. It doesn't come and go. It doesn't withhold or punish. It doesn't measure you by your mistakes. His love is the kind that enters the darkest parts of your soul and stays there, offering warmth, not judgment, holding you close until you can stand again. This love, His love, is the reason your case is closed. Because no matter how far you felt you had fallen, He was already reaching down to lift you up. No matter how lost you thought you were, He was already clearing a path home. He didn't wait for you to be perfect. He didn't need you to prove anything. He just wanted your heart, and even in your brokenness, He saw beauty. He saw the child He created, the one He's never stopped believing in. It's not about what you've done. It's not about the choices you regret or the chapters you wish you could erase. It's about who you are in His eyes, redeemed, restored, and still becoming. Every piece of your story, even the shattered ones, are being shaped into something beautiful in the hands of the one who never stops creating new life out of what the world calls ruins. Type 555 to receive blessings and miracles. And maybe today, you're still carrying things you don't speak about. Maybe you've learned to smile while holding back the ache. Maybe you've gotten good at pretending you're fine when deep down you're just hoping someone, anyone, would really see you. If that's where you are, it's okay. Because God already sees you. He sees beneath the surface, past the masks, beyond the noise. And He is not disappointed in you. He is not angry. He is not tired of waiting for you. He is simply here. Steady. Loving. Ready. There is something powerful in knowing that heaven has already spoken on your behalf. That while the world may replay your mistakes, heaven declares your name with joy. That while others may walk away, God stays. That while the past tries to remind you of who you were, the Spirit of God speaks gently of who you are still becoming. And in that becoming, there is grace. In that becoming, there is healing. In that becoming, there is a future that no one can take from you. So rest now. Let your heart be comforted. Let your soul be reminded that you are not a mistake, not a failure, not too far gone. You are the one Jesus picked up along the way, the one He placed on His shoulders, the one He defended with His life. The cross wasn't a symbol of your guilt. It was the banner of your rescue. And now that banner hangs over your life, waving in victory, singing a love song that doesn't end. What if the missing piece to financial success wasn't luck, but a hidden frequency inside your brain waiting to be switched on? Once activated, this ancient signal unleashes waves of prosperity, opening doors to opportunities you never thought possible. From sudden windfalls to long-awaited breakthroughs, it's transforming lives daily. Want to see how? Click the link in the video description and comments below to tap into the Money Magnet brain wave and begin your journey today. Others are already awakening this hidden signal and watching their lives transform. Do not be the one left behind while abundance passes you by. This isn't about pretending everything is fine. It's about knowing that even in the middle of your healing, you are still held. Even when you don't have the answers, you are still carried. Even when your faith wavers, you are still covered by a love that does not run out. That love is yours now, not when you're better, not when you've figured everything out, but now, in this moment, just as you are. God's not waiting for some future version of you to show up. He's already in love with the you that's here right now, the tired you, the uncertain you, the you that still wonders if you're enough. And He whispers gently into that wondering, yes. You are. You always have been. He didn't second-guess His love for you. He didn't hesitate to speak freedom over your name. He stood before all the weight of the past and declared that nothing, absolutely nothing, could separate you from His heart. There is something sacred in understanding that your name was spoken in the courts of heaven, not with shame or hesitation, but with a voice full of love and purpose. While the enemy tried to build a case with fear, guilt, and accusation, the Son of God stood in the gap, not with excuses, but with His own life as the final word. He didn't just defend you, He gave Himself for you, because to Him, you were always worth saving. You were always worth the cost. Type 666 if you trust in God's grace and mercy. You don't need to keep carrying the weight of what was. You don't need to keep running from the shadows or trying to earn back something that was never lost in the first place. God didn't close your case because you proved yourself. He closed it because love chose you before the first crack ever formed in your heart. And now, that same love is rebuilding what you thought was ruined, restoring what you thought was gone, and reminding you that you've never walked alone. Maybe it's hard to believe. Maybe you've been told you have to fight for every ounce of grace. Maybe you've been led to believe that if you fall too many times, God will eventually grow tired. But that's not who He is. His patience isn't thin. His kindness doesn't run dry. His mercy doesn't arrive in pieces. It floods your life like a river that never stops flowing. And it flows not because of what you've done, but because of who He is. Even now, as you sit with these words, something inside you may feel unsure. There may be a part of you that still asks, can this really be true for me? And to that, heaven answers, yes. 1,000 times, yes. Not because your past is small, but because your Savior is greater. Not because your pain doesn't matter, but because your healing matters more. You are not forgotten. You are not a name lost in the crowd. You are known by God, intimately, deeply, and without condition. He knows the things you've never said out loud. He knows the silent prayers you whispered when no one else saw your tears. He knows the fear that sometimes creeps in during quiet moments, and the way you try to be strong even when your heart feels fragile. And He holds all of it with such tenderness, never rushing you, never pushing you away, just gently reminding you that you are safe with Him. Your journey may not look like anyone else's. Your healing may take time. Your steps may feel shaky some days. But not one moment of it is wasted. Not one part of your story is beyond redemption. God uses every piece, even the ones that feel too heavy, even the ones you wish you could erase. He holds them all, reshaping them into something that brings life, not shame. Into something that carries light, not judgment. You don't have to pretend to be okay anymore. You don't have to wear the mask that says you've got it all together. God doesn't need you to be perfect. He just wants you to be honest with Him. Bring your tired, you're overwhelmed, you're unsure, you're doubting. Bring it all to the one who already knows and still calls you His own. Let His voice be louder than the voice of shame. Let His truth drown out the lies that have circled your mind. Let His love settle deep in your chest until you no longer feel the need to run from yourself. Because when God closed your case, He also opened the door to a new beginning. A beginning not built on pressure, but on peace. Not built on fear, but on freedom. A new beginning where you don't have to perform, you just have to be held. Let this be the moment where you stop looking back with regret, and start looking ahead with hope. Not because life is suddenly easy, but because you no longer walk through it alone. God walks with you now, not just beside you, but within you, whispering strength into every step, lighting up the dark corners, and filling you with a love that refuses to give up on you. And even when you fall again, even when you feel lost again, His hand will still be there, reaching out with the same tenderness, the same grace, the same love that has always covered you. Because the case is still closed. the verdict hasn't changed. You are still His. And nothing, absolutely nothing, can undo what Jesus has done for you. Type "I love God" to claim abundance through God's love. It means you no longer have to live beneath the weight of trying to be enough, because to God, you always were. You don't have to keep replaying the scenes of your past, trying to figure out where it all went wrong, because the author of your soul already wrote a new chapter where grace won, and shame was silenced. In this world, people are quick to judge, quick to walk away when they see weakness, quick to label you by your worst days, but God has never seen you that way. He looks deeper. He looks at your heart, at your quiet efforts, at the way you still hold on even when it hurts, at the way you've kept going when others would have given up. He sees not just who you've been, but who you're becoming through His mercy. And that is why He declared your case finished. Because He sees you through the eyes of love, not law. It's not easy to let go of guilt when it has lived with you like a shadow, whispering lies into your most vulnerable moments. It's not easy to believe in peace when pain has taken root in your chest. But peace is not something you have to create on your own. Peace is a gift, a gentle presence that God brings into the deepest parts of your soul when you stop running and finally let yourself be still. He isn't waiting for a stronger version of you. He's sitting right here with the real you, offering the comfort your heart has been aching for. When Jesus walked this earth, He didn't spend His time with the proud or the powerful. He walked with the broken, the forgotten, the ones pushed to the edges. He sat with the lonely. He touched the sick. He wept with the grieving. He never once asked them to fix themselves before coming close. And He hasn't changed. He still moves toward the hurting, not away. He still chooses the ones the world overlooks. And today, He chooses you again, without hesitation. What if you discovered a tiny, walnut-sized brain region holds the secret to endless wealth and success? Recently uncovered by groundbreaking research and once buried in classified files, this frequency is now available to anyone ready to listen. Imagine replacing worry and struggle with a life of financial ease and freedom. Interested? Click the link in video description and comments below to unleash this hidden brain wave and start attracting wealth right now. You have been guided to this message for a reason, and if you turn away, the chance may not return. This is your time to step in. You don't need to pretend that everything's okay. You don't need to hide the parts of your story that still ache. You are not too much for God. You are not too far gone. His love doesn't break at the sight of your scars, it wraps around them like a gentle healing balm. You may still feel the weight of certain memories, but God is slowly exchanging those ashes for beauty. He's planting seeds of hope where fear once lived. He's speaking tender truths into the places where lies once took root. There is a reason you're reading this right now. There is a reason your spirit feels drawn, even if your mind still wrestles with doubt. God is reaching you, not through noise or pressure, but through stillness and love. He wants you to know that nothing in your life is wasted. Not your tears. Not your battles. Not your failures. Every piece of it is being woven into a story of redemption, one that will reflect His goodness even through the parts you never wanted to live. This is not just about healing your heart. This is about awakening your identity. You are not the sum of what's been done to you. You are not a collection of mistakes. You are a child of God, with eternity written into your spirit, with heaven's hope living in your chest. You were formed with care, spoken into being by a Creator who makes no accidents, and who still holds you even when everything feels like it's falling apart. It's okay if you don't feel strong yet. It's okay if you still cry sometimes. Strength is not the absence of pain, it's the quiet courage to keep trusting even when you're trembling. It's choosing to believe, even just a little, that maybe God really is who He says He is. And in that little mustard seed of faith, He moves mountains. He lifts burdens. He rebuilds what was broken. And He keeps going, even when you feel like giving up, because His love is not limited by your capacity to understand it. It just keeps reaching. Type 999 if you trust Jesus with all your heart. So let this part of your journey be one of soft surrender, not shame. Let it be where you let the past rest and allow your heart to breathe. Let it be the place where you stop fighting to fix everything, and finally rest in the arms of the one who already fought for you. The one who knows your name. The one who silenced every accusation. The one who whispered, "It is finished," and closed your case with love so deep, nothing can ever reopen it. It spoke to the deepest part of your soul, the place that still aches for belonging, and answered it with divine certainty: you belong here, in God's heart, forever. You see, there are things in life that try to bury you slowly. Guilt that lingers in the quiet. Shame that wears the face of old memories. Fear that settles in your bones and makes you feel like maybe you'll never fully breathe again. But God, our good and loving Father, He does not sit on a throne with crossed arms and a list of what went wrong. No. He comes near, He kneels beside you, and He speaks in a voice softer than your sorrow: you don't have to carry this anymore. What love is this, that stays when everything falls apart? What mercy is this, that chooses you again and again, no matter how far you've drifted? It is the love of a Savior who carried every grief you tried to hide, who held every broken dream you never found the words for, who bore your sorrow as if it were His own, because to Him, it was. Not one moment of your pain has been wasted. Not one crack in your heart has gone unnoticed. And now, because of that love, your soul is being made whole in ways you cannot yet see. Type Amen if you believe in God's power, and share this video with 7 people to invite peace, blessings, and miracles today. Even when it feels like nothing around you is changing, something within you is. Slowly, quietly, and faithfully, God is healing the parts of you that were left in the shadows. The pieces that felt too damaged, too complicated, too tired. He is not asking you to be strong enough, wise enough, or faithful enough. He is simply asking you to be still long enough to let Him love you back to life. And He will. Not just once, but every day, in every breath, in every sunrise that meets your weary eyes. There are seasons where life feels like it has hardened you, where your heart builds walls because hope feels too dangerous, and trust feels too costly. But even in that, God is not offended by your defenses. He understands why they're there. And yet, He patiently knocks, never forcing His way in, only waiting for the smallest opening. When you let Him in, even a little, He does not come to destroy you. He comes to rebuild you. Not into someone new, but into who you've always been in His eyes, worthy, cherished, redeemed. You may still feel the echoes of your past, but they no longer get to define you. The voices that once spoke failure over your life are now silenced by the voice of God speaking blessing. Where others saw mistakes, God sees miracles in the making. Where others only saw your scars, God sees where He will place His healing hands. You are not defined by the chapters that tried to break you. You are defined by the grace that carried you through them, and the promise that even in the ruins, beauty is being born again. Type 1010 to affirm that God's timing is perfect. Your future is not held in the hands of people who misunderstood you, mistreated you, or misjudged your heart. Your future is held in the hands that stretched wide on the cross and said, "You are worth every drop of this love." And that is what closes the case. Not your defense. Not your good deeds. But the love of Christ poured out without condition or limit, strong enough to rescue you, gentle enough to restore you. So, breathe. Breathe in the truth that you are no longer fighting for freedom, it has already been given. You are no longer chasing after peace, it is already yours. And you are no longer waiting to be enough, you already are, in the eyes of the one who made you. His love does not run dry. His grace does not run out. His mercy does not have an expiration date. It meets you new each morning, just as steady as the rising sun. And when doubt comes again, when fear creeps in and tries to tell you that this grace isn't for you, remember this: Jesus didn't wait for you to understand it to give it. He gave it freely, fully, and forever. You can rest in that now. You can let go of the need to prove yourself. You can fall apart if you need to, knowing that He is strong enough to hold all the pieces and kind enough to never let go. That moment wasn't about punishment being removed. It was about love being revealed in its truest form, steady, sacrificial, and overflowing. There are things you have carried for so long, things hidden deep in the corners of your memory, things you thought you had to live with forever. And yet, the heart of God saw each one, and instead of turning away, He leaned in. He didn't recoil from your pain. He didn't flinch at the weight of your mistakes. He came closer. He came to you not to condemn but to comfort, not to expose your wounds in shame but to cover them in healing. What if I told you financial freedom is not about working harder, but activating a dormant brain signal designed to draw abundance directly to you? Neuroscience proves this sound wave unlocks prosperity faster than any method known before. From unexpected cash to life-changing success, it's already helping thousands. Imagine looking back tomorrow wishing you had acted today. Do not let regret replace the miracle that is calling you right now. Click the link in the video description and comments below to turn on the ancient money wave and create the life you've always dreamed of today. That's what grace looks like. It doesn't come in like a flood to destroy. It comes in like rain on dry soil, softening what had grown hard from years of trying to survive. And in that softness, in that sacred surrender, something new begins. Hope begins. Healing begins. The quiet unfolding of redemption begins. You may not see it all at once, but it's there, gently growing within you like the first bloom after a long winter. You are not who the past says you are. You are not who pain tried to make you. You are not defined by what you couldn't fix or what broke beyond your control. You are defined by what Jesus did for you, and what He continues to do every day as He walks with you through the process of healing. His hands are never too far. His love is never too late. He's still reaching, still guiding, still whispering peace into the storm. Some days the storm is inside you. It's not always loud or obvious. Sometimes it's the quiet ache in your chest, the exhaustion behind your smile, the weight you carry while pretending to be okay. But God knows. He sees through every layer, every mask, every effort to be strong. And He doesn't ask you to hold it all together. He only asks you to let Him in. Because where He is, peace is. Where He is, fear dissolves. Where He is, healing becomes not just possible, but promised. It is okay if you still feel broken. It is okay if your heart still trembles. Wholeness doesn't mean perfection. It means being held while you're still healing. It means knowing that you are deeply loved, even when you don't have all the answers. You don't have to force yourself into joy. Let it come slowly. Let it rise quietly from within, nurtured by the presence of God that lives inside you now, a presence that is never rushed, never harsh, always kind. Type 1111 if you believe heaven is listening. And if you find yourself remembering the pain, the betrayal, the regret, don't be afraid. Those memories do not hold power over you anymore. They are not evidence against you, they are simply places where light is now entering, slowly transforming what once was dark. God is using even those moments. He is taking everything the enemy meant for harm and turning it into something that will strengthen you, something that will speak life to others, something that will glorify the goodness of your Father. Because this isn't just about your rescue. It's also about your renewal. The closing of your case wasn't the end of your story, it was the opening of a new one. One where you are no longer defined by the accusations of the past, but by the truth of who you are in Christ. You are not bound. You are not disqualified. You are not invisible. You are chosen. You are called. You are being shaped into something beautiful, even in the waiting, even in the silence, even in the unseen places. Let that truth settle into your spirit. Let it sit with you in the quiet moments, when no one else is around and your thoughts grow loud. Let it speak louder than the lies that once held you captive. You are not forgotten. You are not lost. You are not beyond reach. You are God's beloved, and He is still working all things together for your good, even now, even here. That holy declaration was not about erasing who you are. It was about restoring who you've always been in His eyes, loved, chosen, and worthy of being brought back home. God never needed you to be flawless. He never asked you to have it all together before drawing near. In fact, He drew near when you were at your lowest, your most fragile, your most uncertain. That's the mystery of His love. It doesn't wait at the top of the mountain for you to climb your way up. It meets you in the valley, where your soul feels tired and your faith is worn thin. It meets you in the middle of the night, when you wonder if healing will ever come, and it simply sits with you until peace returns. There is something unshakably beautiful about a God who doesn't just rescue you from your sin, but who also restores the parts of your heart that were wounded along the way. He knows that forgiveness is only one part of the story. The other part is healing. The slow, quiet healing that happens when love is consistent, when grace is poured over shame again and again until even your deepest wounds stop believing they are ugly. And that is what is happening now, whether you see it or not. That is what has begun inside you, even if your days still feel heavy. The healing of your heart is not a moment, it's a journey. It's the tender hand of God guiding you back to who you really are. It's the daily reminder that your value was never based on how strong you appeared or how much you achieved, but simply on the fact that you are His. Sometimes we learn to live with emotional weight as if it's normal. We walk around carrying memories, regrets, and words that were spoken over us long ago, words that never should have taken root. But God is digging those up now. Not to expose your pain, but to replace it with peace. Not to shame you, but to set you free. He's rewriting the labels you once wore, the ones that told you you were unworthy, unloved, or too far gone. And He's replacing them with truth. You are forgiven. You are whole. You are new. Type 1212 if you know God is guiding your steps. It's okay if some days you still feel unsure. Healing doesn't always feel like joy, it often feels like letting go of something familiar, even if that thing was painful. It feels like learning to breathe differently. Learning to see yourself the way God sees you. And that takes time. But God has never been in a rush. He is gentle. He is kind. He is walking beside you with patience, with wisdom, with a heart that never grows weary of loving you. Even in your silence, He hears you. Even in your confusion, He understands. Even when you pull away, He stays. His presence is not something you have to earn, it's something you already have. And when you're ready to rest in it, you will find it's been there all along, waiting like a soft light in the darkness, never demanding, only inviting. Let this be the moment where you begin to believe that your story is not over. Let this be the place where the pressure begins to lift and your soul learns how to breathe again. You were not made to carry shame like a second skin. You were made to walk in freedom, in light, in quiet confidence that comes not from your own strength, but from the certainty that God is holding your life in His hands. The world may not understand the battles you've faced. It may not see the nights you spent crying out for help when no one else was listening. But heaven heard. Heaven saw. And heaven responded with a love that doesn't fade and a mercy that doesn't fail. The cross was not just a moment in history, it was a decision made with your name on it. And that decision still stands. What if everything you've been chasing, wealth, freedom, success, could be drawn to you automatically, simply by unlocking a secret brain wave hidden inside you? Once classified by intelligence agencies, this discovery is now available to the public, and it's changing lives instantly. Picture yourself debt-free, stress-free, and thriving. The window is open, but not forever, and every second you wait is wealth slipping from your hands, so grasp it now. Click the link in video description and comments below to awaken this money magnet frequency and watch abundance flow into your life today. Your case is not under review. It's not pending approval. It's done. It's settled. You have been forgiven, redeemed, and set free, not because you proved your worth, but because Jesus already gave everything for you. So now, walk gently into this new season. You don't have to fight for your place anymore. You are already home. And here, in this place of peace, God will continue the work He started in you, with grace that never runs out and love that never lets go. And He didn't do this with thunder or loudness. He did it in the most intimate way, by stepping into your life, staying through the silence, and speaking to your soul with a voice that only true love carries. This closing was not a rejection. It was a rescue. It was God saying, "Enough." No more shame. No more guilt. No more fear stealing your breath. No more voices convincing you that you are too broken to be seen. And in that divine moment, heaven rewrote the ending you were so afraid of. God took what should have destroyed you and turned it into the foundation for a future you never thought you'd be able to hope for again. Maybe you still wake up with memories that make your chest feel tight. Maybe you still carry the weight of things you never told anyone. But God is not waiting for you to be unscarred. He's holding you as you are, scars and all, and reminding you that healing doesn't erase the evidence of pain, it transforms it. Your wounds, once held in shame, now glow with grace because they have been touched by the hands of mercy. This is not about pretending that nothing happened. This is not about forgetting what broke your heart. This is about allowing God to redeem it. This is about knowing that your life is not ruined, even if it has been touched by loss or failure or regret. This is about trusting that somehow, even here, even now, God is still writing something beautiful from the ashes. Type 1313 to affirm strength through the Lord. There is something holy about the way He stays. When others leave, when the world grows loud and cold, He stays. He does not leave you to figure it all out alone. He walks beside you, step by step, whether you are running with joy or crawling in sorrow. He doesn't rush you. He doesn't shame you for needing time. He simply stays, and in His staying, He heals. Even now, there are things unfolding that you can't see yet. Doors opening where you once only saw walls. Healing beginning in places where only numbness lived before. That quiet shift in your soul, that little sigh of peace you feel when you read these words, is proof that God is near. It's proof that something is changing. Not just around you, but within you. And what's coming is not just survival. It's restoration. It's the slow rebuilding of trust, not just in others, but in yourself, and most of all, in the God who never let go. You may not feel ready to dream again, but that's okay. God is already dreaming for you. He sees the version of you that is free, and He is gently guiding you toward it, with hands that never push but always invite. You are not a burden. You are not a mistake. You are not forgotten in the back corners of heaven's heart. You are seen. You are understood. You are deeply, unshakably loved by a God who knew every detail of your life before you lived a single day of it, and still chose you anyway. And that kind of love doesn't walk away when things get messy. That kind of love draws closer. So, let yourself rest. Not because everything is perfect, but because you don't have to hold it all by yourself anymore. Let go of the need to explain your pain. Let go of the lie that says you are too much. Let yourself be held. Let yourself be carried. God is not asking you to run, He's simply asking you to stay close, to lean on Him, and to trust that even when you feel weak, you are being held by strength. You are already walking in redemption. You are already living in the aftermath of mercy. And even though the path ahead is still unfolding, you are not lost. You are not wandering without direction. You are being led by love. That's what it means when heaven closes your case. It means your story has shifted from one of defeat to one of divine purpose. And you don't need to prove anything. You just need to be. Be here. Be real. Be honest with God. He can handle your tears, your questions, your tiredness. And in return, He will give you peace, He will give you hope, and He will give you a future that nothing and no one can take from you. It was the end of striving, the end of condemnation, the end of trying to prove your worth to a world that was never meant to define it. That moment, quiet and holy, was God's way of gathering you into His arms and saying, "You are safe now. You are free." There is something unspoken that happens in the presence of love that does not walk away. When your heart begins to believe that this love truly will not leave you, even when you fall short or lose your way, a kind of peace begins to settle into your soul. Not the kind of peace that comes from understanding everything, but the kind that comes from finally letting go. Letting go of the past. Letting go of the fear. Letting go of the lies you've carried for far too long. Type 1414 if you believe in divine protection. Because this journey was never about perfection. It was never about being flawless or never breaking down. It was always about coming home. And home isn't a place you have to earn, it's a place you are welcomed into just as you are, even if you arrive with trembling hands, even if you come in pieces. God doesn't stand at the door with a list of conditions. He stands with open arms, already knowing the story you carry and loving you more because of it. He saw your silence when the world misunderstood you. He saw the days when you kept going even though you didn't know how. He saw the questions you buried deep and the tears you cried in the dark. And still, He chose to call you His own. Still, He reached out, not with judgment, but with gentleness. Still, He covered every failure with forgiveness, every scar with grace, every weakness with strength. You are not invisible to Him. You are not just another face in the crowd. You are His beloved, the one He fought for, the one He defended when no one else understood the weight you were carrying. And in that courtroom of heaven, when your name came up, there was no hesitation. Jesus stood up, not to argue or plead, but to claim. To say, "This one is mine. This one is covered. This one is already paid for." And the beauty of that truth is that nothing can undo it. No mistake you make tomorrow can reopen what God has closed. No voice of guilt can reverse the mercy that was spoken over your life. That verdict is sealed in love, not law. It is written into your story with a permanent grace that does not crack under pressure. And that means you are safe. You are safe in Him. You are safe to breathe again, to hope again, to live without the fear of being too much or not enough. There may still be days when you feel unworthy. There may still be moments when old fears rise up, trying to remind you of your past. But those voices have no power here. Not anymore. Because this is holy ground now. This place where you stand, this place where your heart begins to heal, this is where grace lives. And where grace lives, shame cannot stay. Where love is real, fear begins to unravel. So take your time. Healing is not rushed. Freedom is not a finish line, it is a way of living, day by day, hand in hand with the one who will never let go. You don't have to understand every step. You just have to stay close to the one who walks with you. And he does. Through every uncertain morning, through every tear-stained night, through every quiet moment where your heart simply says, "God, help me," he stays. There is nothing ordinary about this love. It is fierce in its gentleness. It is strong in its silence. It is holy in its simplicity. And it is yours. Not because you did something right, but because Jesus did not hesitate to love you completely. That's what makes your story beautiful. Not that you were perfect, but that you were loved through every imperfect moment. It was not spoken out of obligation, but from love, deep, holy love that does not give up, does not grow weary, and does not turn away when the road gets hard. This was not a small moment in your story. It was the turning point. The moment mercy kissed your sorrow and gave you a new name, redeemed. Type 1515 to receive peace in your soul today. Maybe you've spent years trying to make sense of what went wrong. Maybe you've quietly carried blame that was never yours to hold. Maybe you've believed the lie that your mistakes disqualified you from peace, from purpose, from love that stays. But what you haven't fully seen yet is that God never built His love for you on your ability to get everything right. His love was there long before your first breath, and it will remain long after your last doubt fades. The Father sees everything, every moment you thought you had to pretend, every time you held back tears to protect others, every piece of yourself that you gave away because you didn't think you mattered enough to keep. And yet, in the middle of all of that, He has never stopped whispering, "Come home. Just come home to me." Not because He's angry, but because He knows that true healing only happens when you return to the arms that never stopped reaching for you. Heaven did not weigh your pain lightly. God did not look at your wounds and say, "Just move on." No. He took them seriously. He took them personally. He carried them as His own. And when Jesus gave Himself for you, He carried not just your sins, but your sorrows. He took on the very weight you were never meant to bear. You are not damaged goods. You are not too far gone. You are not what others did to you or what you did in desperation. You are not the choices you made while trying to survive. You are the beloved child of a holy and faithful God who has always seen through the layers of pain and still found beauty beneath them. And He is not just forgiving you, He is restoring you. Slowly, tenderly, faithfully, Amen. The Lord has heard every silent cry, and even now, His light is moving toward you, dissolving the shadows that have tried to cling to your hope. What you are feeling is not the end, it is a stirring, a gentle awakening of your spirit as heaven calls you closer to the truth that you were made for more than surviving, you were made to live in the fullness of divine love. God has seen your kindness in the small things. He has seen the compassion that lives quietly in you, the love you give even when no one notices, the way you keep believing even when life has tested your faith again and again. He treasures every moment you chose forgiveness over anger, peace over revenge, and patience over fear. Those choices were not unseen, they are the proof of His Spirit living in you, growing in ways that only heaven could measure. Archangel Michael reminds you that this message is not a warning of danger but a declaration of purpose. Heaven's red alert is not a call to fear, but a call to awaken. There is a light within you that the darkness has tried to silence, but it cannot. God is rekindling it now, brighter and stronger than ever before. The angels are aligning paths that will lead you into places of healing and restoration, where your soul will breathe again, and your heart will remember what joy feels like. Every time you thought you were alone, you were being carried.